All right, everybody, the NFL draft round 1 is in the books. I am talking fantasy football impact of the fantasy related players and how it ripples down. We got Hunter to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got Jeanty to the Raiders. We got Hampton to the Chargers. How does this play out? Is Najee going to be a factor there with the Chargers? Is Jeanty a good pick? I'm saving the Jeanty analysis to the end, so make sure you guys stay. I am breaking it down. I'm talking all the offensive players, fantasy football impact, and some talk a little bit about defense as well. Just breaking down the first round of the NFL draft and how it's going to relate to, the fantasy football impact. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys smash it, tap it, hit that thumbs up, guys. It really helps the channel. Takes a second of your time. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited that Jeanty's on the Raiders? Are you excited that Hunter is now with Brian Thomas Jr. fighting for the wide receiver 1 spot? What are your thoughts? Drop it below. Make this ultra interactive. And make sure you guys do, of course, grab the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. Use code DRAFT to save. This is going to put you light years ahead of the sheep. Do not listen to the consensus rankings, the magazines, any type of cookie cutter ranking. It's not going to help you win. Last year, they told you CMC first overall. They told you Tyreek Hill round 1. They told you Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel round 3. They told you Laporta round 2, and on and on and on. It's not going to help you guys win your leagues. Anthony Richardson was a top 5 quarterback last year. 16 rounds, filters through all that garbage. It gives you all the optimal players drafted each round. You will smash your leagues. Get it below. Use code DRAFT to save. All right, let's rock this, man. Let's pull up the draft here. I'm going to talk fantasy football impact. There is a lot to cover, but I don't want to make this a super long episode, but I want to just get you the information and my first initial reaction to kind of what's happened here after the draft and the fantasy impact regarding it. So let's dive into it. Now, the Tennessee Titans went with Cam Ward out of Miami here. Now, listen, this is a smart pick. The Titans obviously need a quarterback. Will Cam Ward be the solution? Nobody really knows with rookie quarterbacks, right? All you could do is bet on the best possible guy out of the draft. It's got to be Cam Ward, man. So they've got Ridley. They just brought in the veteran Lockett, which is going to be a locker room help more than anything. They've got Pollard and Spears, who I'm not really excited about at all. They don't have that true running back, but you're not going to go running back first overall. You got to secure your franchise quarterback. I'm hoping that Cam Ward's the guy. We see failures all the time at quarterback, that are drafted, earlier on. Richardson was supposed to be a guy that's supposed to do it for the Colts, just never got done. And there's a ton of examples. Remember Zach Wilson was drafted, I think it was the Jets. And it's like you got all these quarterbacks that come in. Bryce Young, another guy who has not lived up to the hype. Kyler Murray was a high draft capital guy, has been okay, mediocre, a little bit above par at best. So you just hope for the best when you draft a quarterback. I mean, it's a smart move by Titans. They definitely need a quarterback, so I understand this. Now, the second pick, Travis Hunter, we got Jacksonville moving up, from Cleveland, taking the second overall pick. There was rumors that Jacksonville was going to acquire Ashton Jeanty. They didn't do that. They moved up and draft arguably the best athlete out of the draft, Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter. Now, I take a look at the situation here, and now he's in a committee, essentially, a wide receiver committee with Brian Thomas Jr. Now, I did a post on this on Instagram. Go check it out. If you're not following on my socials, make sure you guys follow at Fantasy Football Counselor everywhere. I did a post on this. Now, here's the thing, right? When you look at a guy like Travis Hunter, second overall, ultra elite talent, does play corner as well. How are they going to utilize him? I hate when they have a player that plays multiple positions, right? Oh, he's a punt returner. That kind of diverses the portfolio and spreads him thin, I think, right? It's like I would use him to his best ability. He could play both, right? They've already got Brian Thomas Jr. So my hope as a Brian Thomas Jr. dynasty owner is that he gets more used as a corner. Now, that being said, could say that he could be a PPR monster as well, because Brian Thomas Jr. is going to draw, the main coverage, the top corner, and open things up for Hunter. Here's the thing, right? A lot of teams are now going with this wide receiver by committee where you don't know who the clear one is, right? Before, there was a huge gap in regards to this is the wide receiver 1, this is the wide receiver 2, and it was a massive gap. Now that gap is getting closer when you're looking at talent and especially high draft capital, and you're like, well, what's happening here? Is he you don't draft a guy second overall and not want him to be your wide receiver 1. But also Brian Thomas Jr. proved it and has the rapport with Trevor Lawrence. So when you're looking at falling, rising. Definitely Trevor Lawrence is a winner here. I think Brian Thomas Jr., you could say that he takes a hit because no matter how you look at it, there's going to be volume going Hunter's way. They got to look his way, I would think. Right now, could it help Brian Thomas? Maybe as Hunter's drawing looks. Again, it's tough. Now, here's the thing. When you're looking at drafting Brian Thomas Jr., you have to pay a second-round pick or a late first round. And we were getting him. That's why I got the Jacksonville Jaguars hat last year. I was getting him in the 7th to 9th round. And I like that value better. I don't like the second-round pick. So I'm going robust RB. There's a ton of wide receivers this year. That's what I noticed from this draft. There's a ton of guys like Golden on the Packers. We're going to see where his ADP. We'll get to that in a second. So I don't know, man. I just think it kind of hurts more than helps anything, okay? We got Abdul Carter here, went to the Giants, okay? They needed an edge. Giants went with that. That's cool. Will Campbell, offensive tackle. That's going to help May up front. Drake May. It's good. It's good. This is a good move by the Patriots. Obviously, they need a running back. Cleveland Browns went defensive tackle. I think they need a running back. And here's the pick. Let's talk about it. Jeanty. I want to save this to the end. Stay to the end. I'm going to come back to Jeanty. I want to address everything because Jeanty is the most important one. I'm going to tell you what I think is how is the fantasy impact good. Where am I drafting? All that. So make sure you guys stay to the end. I'm going to rip through this. Jets offensive tackle. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Obviously, there's improvement there. And then we got McMillan, Tataria McMillan. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that. Tatario McMillan. Joe, you're butchering his name. I know I am. Okay, I'm just going to call him McMillan. Panthers. Again, I'm not sold on Bryce Young. That being said, I got to see where McMillan is coming off in drafts. He now becomes the wide receiver one clearly in Carolina. Bryce Young was looking decent at the end of last season. Hopefully he carries that momentum over, but finally giving him an offensive weapon that could be viable. This could be good, okay, for fantasy. Calvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle for the Saints. We got Loveland. Now, this was a bit of a shock because the Bears went tight end, and not only that, they went with Loveland over Tyler Warren. Now, Loveland impact could be good. They got Rome. I think he takes a step up more. I just don't know, again, similar to last year, the volume distribution. With Allen being gone, that's 120 freed up targets. It could go to Loveland. I see him having a couple big games, but being a consistent producer is something I still got to research here as I'm going through 16 rounds and laying it out, because as of right now, man, high draft capital, they got to use Loveland. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out, okay? We got Michael Williams, edge for the 49ers. Tyler Booker, guard, Dallas Cowboys. Again, not going running back. You have Hampton on the board. You have Hampton on the board, and you don't go running back. It's absolutely ludicrous, honestly. The Cowboys blow my mind how they could just go with these bottom feeder running backs and think that they can get by on that. Don't you learn from your rivals, the Eagles, getting it done with Saquon last year? It blows my mind. You are going to start it with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. That being said, there's still a lot of talent at running back on the board, but Travion Henderson's still out there, so there's other guys out there, but man, like, how do you, like, I'm going to pull this up again. How do you fade the position you need the most? It just blows my mind here. So I don't know if I had the screen up earlier. So, but let's keep going here. We got, where were we? Loveland. So again, we're going to have to see. It's just crazy. And then we got Booker, guard. I don't know, man. They should have honestly went running back here, got Hampton, but it is what it is. And that's why they brought in the bottom feeder Williams, because I knew they would do something like this. They wanted to pass up on the early round running back. So I know they got to improve their O-line, but still, man, just crazy. Defensive tackle for Miami. And then they went Tyler Warren, the Colts did, at tight end. Now, again, top tight end prospect. Do I like this? That's a big question. The quick answer is yes. I do have a problem with Daniel Jones and Richardson at quarterback. I almost feel better if Daniel Jones is starting. I don't know. I just feel he's going to feed him more. I don't think that they have a true wide receiver one. So that's where I think Warren comes in. I don't know, man. It's interesting, something to monitor. I got to see his value, but this is very intriguing to me. I like it. Jalen Walker at edge for the Falcons. We got Arizona Cardinals, Walter Nolan, defensive tackle. Then the Bengals went Shamar Stewart at edge. We got a guard for the Seahawks, Grace Zabal. This is interesting. The Buccaneers, Emeka Igbuka, one of the top, most polished players out of this draft, okay? Well, at the wide receiver position, that is. So when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers depth chart, I say, man, they need some youth there. They don't have another wide. I mean, they got Godwin, they got Evans, but, Evans is on the way out. That being said, I think it's still crowded. Jalen McMillan did well last year. Cade Otton is there. I mean, with Godwin, he has his share of injuries. One of those guys has to go down or really decline for Emeka to step up. It's just, it feels a little crowded to me at initial first glance there, okay? The Broncos, this is crazy. They went cornerback. They went Barron, Jada Barron. Now, this is crazy because they needed a running back, and I did a post saying, like, I hope, honestly, that they lose Hampton. I really hope they lose Hampton because I don't want them to have Hampton after they had an opportunity to get him and they get him later. No. So they passed up for a corner, which is crazy because they need a running back. They don't have a running back. They don't even have a wide receiver. I don't believe Sutton's the real deal. Franklin could be good if that connection is built up with him and Nix again from college. But I look at the situation. I'm like, dude, you should have gone running back, but you didn't, which is crazy, okay? Derek Harmon went to the Steelers. Again, Steelers have no quarterback. Like, what are you doing? Like, seriously. I got to ask myself, the Steelers have no quarterback. They don't got a running back. You can't run Warren. I know there's depth at the running back position, but you pass up on quarterback in the first round to get Derek Harmon, a defensive tackle out of Oregon. Like, you need a quarterback, and Sanders was still on the board. And so was Dart. Jackson Dart was on the board. And the Steelers end up going defense. Like, it blows my mind. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I just hope Sanders doesn't fall to them in the second. Like, you can't get a freebie like that. You missed out. So, anyways, that's crazy. And then the Chargers come back and get Hampton. I would have rather seen Hampton on the Broncos. Okay? So, as you can see here, Omarion Hampton, okay? Omarion Hampton goes to the Chargers. Omarion Hampton to the Chargers after they acquired Najee Harris. I love Hampton, but now he lands in a committee, an annoying committee where Najee sucks, but he's good enough to be the volume getter. I was hearing that he's going to get 10 to 12 attempts a game. So Hampton isn't going into the season like I would assume, like, you draft him in the first round, but the mentality is they got Najee there. They got to throw him the bone a little bit until Hampton completely takes over. But on paper, the theory for Hampton on paper, which I still love Hampton, I got to see where he's coming off. Maybe he's going to be my RB4 as part of a robust RB strategy. I got to see where he's coming off. I would assume round 4 or 5, right? Because Najee's going to, keep that. He's going to temper the expectations. If Najee wasn't there, he's a first round pick, without a doubt. But now Hampton comes in and Najee's there, and I can't stand Najee. He just sucks. Terrible vision, runs into piles, lacks explosive playability. And then you got Hampton, who's got all of the above that Najee's missing. And then they all want to do this like Detroit Lions thing, Sonic and Knuckles. It's all BS, man. You got to have your best player out on the field. So I'm hoping Hampton takes a job, but I think it's going to be, it's going to take a little bit of time. But even still they're going to use Najee around the goal line or short yardage situations, which is really going to be annoying. So I had to express my thoughts on that. I'm just really, really annoyed with it. I just wanted to share that, okay? But I still love Hampton. I got to see where he's coming off. We got Matthew Golden from the Packers here. I like this, but again, you're in a wide receiver by committee type situation again. And it's like, yes, he could be the one because based on the talent there in Green Bay, there really isn't any outstanding talent there that could really, really shine. Jaden Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, Watson sucks. He always gets hurt. So Golden could really be the one there, but like Love has really got to gravitate to him. Okay, so that's something to watch as well. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let's keep finishing us off here. Donovan Jackson, guard for the Vikings, and then Jackson Dart. Now, it's going to be interesting. Now, they said that going into the season that Russell Wilson is still going to be the starter. So that's interesting. You draft a guy in the first round, you bring in Russell Wilson, and he's still starting. They got Winston there and Tommy DeVito, which I don't think is going to be a big factor. But Russell Wilson's going to go start. Good mentorship for Jackson Dart. But I don't know, man. I don't know when Dart's going to get the start. No one knows at this point. But first round pick, they passed out on Sanders. Could that be a mistake? Something to watch as time progresses. Then with Atlanta Falcons, we had James Pierce at edge. Malachi Starks, safety for the Ravens. Detroit goes defensive tackle. Commanders improve their offensive line, which is good. Josh Connerly Jr., which is good because I like, Jaden Daniels getting protected. And then the cornerback, Maxell Hairston, goes to the Bills. A linebacker and offensive tackle to round it up for the Eagles, and the Chiefs offensive tackle, Josh Simmons. So let's get back to the Jeanty talk because I wanted to leave that to the end. Do I love this? Simple answer, yes. I absolutely love Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. It couldn't be a better landing spot. That being said, there is some issues, all right? It's not a complete fairy tale ending here, right? They've got a decent O-line, needs work, obviously. Like I'd say good. It needs to be great, right? That's the first issue. Second issue is they got no wide receiver. I do like Geno Smith because I don't think he's going to be a huge running threat that's going to take away the volume from Jeanty, which I absolutely love. Like I would hate for him to be in, have him with a Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams runs more like any type of rushing quarterback. I would hate that. So I do like the fact that Geno can move if he needs to, but he's not going to move enough to take away a ton of volume from him. So that's good. O-line is good. They don't have a wide receiver. Like I'm looking at it like Jacoby Myers, this is really good for Brock Bowers. So he's a winner as well. Love Brock Bowers now because someone's got to catch the ball. So they do have Brock Bowers as a threat. They got Jeanty as a threat. So I like that kind of situation going on there. They just need to bring in a wide receiver. I think Keenan Allen's a free agent. He'd be a good enough guy to kind of draw some coverage. This is where I want Keenan Allen to be on a team. This is the only time I want him to be on a team because he could do some good stuff here for Jeanty if they bring him on. So I'm looking at this, and I love Jeanty. I mean, we are looking at no committee, 0. I mean, I looked at the stats. Madison last year, okay, I looked at it, had like 130 32 rushing attempts, and they had like Zamir White, who absolutely sucked. I was wrong. I thought Zamir was in a great situation. He had 60 attempts. They ran the ball over 300 times with 6 different running backs. Jeanty's going to come in, 300-plus rushing attempts. It's going to be nice, man. Obviously, like I said, they need someone to distract. We don't want stacked boxes on Jeanty. As good as he is, we need a wide receiver on the outside that's going to pull everybody back a little bit, okay? So aside from that, love Jeanty. I'm pretty happy. A little disappointed. Just to recap, I am disappointed about Hampton a little bit. Love the offense, love the coaching, love the situation, but I am a little disappointed that Najee's there. Najee's got to get hurt or just go away. So that's annoying. But yeah, we're going to have to see how round 2 and 3 go. I'm going to break that down for you, do a video on that once that happens. But man, oh man, a lot to be excited about for fantasy football. So make sure you guys grab the 60-round draft session. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think below. I'll keep the content rolling for you guys. I appreciate you being here. Have yourself an outstanding day. NFL draft is here. Fantasy's in full motion now. Ashton Jeanty, love it. Make sure you draft him. Oh, where do you draft him? First round, as soon as possible. I'm thinking he might be my first overall, but still early. It'll all be in 16 rounds when I lay that out in 2 weeks, but you can pre-order it right now, okay? Love Jeanty. Definitely a first rounder, just to round it up. We'll talk soon, guys. Appreciate you being here.